Ever wonder what it's like to work with Jeff and Jeremy?
Why are you so cranky?
It's early. Let's be real with people.
Let's
okay?
be real.
Work with them at home on demand by subscribing to Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning, wherever you get your podcasts. All the benefits of working with them, with none of the smell. Oh, somebody light a match. Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
Good morning.
Hey.
And welcome in. We didn't really talk about this yesterday much. New Year's resolutions. We always kind of think they're dumb anyways. But a lot of people are making their resolutions. I was looking at an article online yesterday afternoon about people want to, and I kind of led into this yesterday. They want to watch their money a little bit more in 2021. And I said, you know what? We spent too much money around the holidays, so I'm selling all my stuff.
Yeah, Jeremy is having a clearinghouse. He's set up a shop.
It's kind of like
marketplace. It's
virtual garage sale.
When you search for anything that you're looking, don't even bother. Jeremy's got everything that you need. Just search Jeremy on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, on anywhere where you.
Before I go and put it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, I figured I would give people that are loyal to us an opportunity to win my cool stuff.
Win? It's not winning if they're paying money for it.
Well, no, but it's still a win because it's mine and it's a good deal. And
what do you mean it's a win
deal.
because it's yours?
It's mine, I mean, here we are.
It's been graced by the presence of you?
You can say, Jeremy from Jeff and Jeremy, this was his air fryer. If Kyle gets it.
That should have negative.
Kyle seems to be very interested, but then he tried to send me that post of the Tefal air fryer that you saw for $30 that's much older, by the way.
See, I'm like
and not as in good a shape as mine is.
I'm a consumer advocate for all of you that are possibly could get duped by Jeremy. Listen.
And the other thing is,
come to the guy that works with them on a daily basis.
You could put a whole chicken in mine. The one that you saw is like a circle thing in the middle. You can't do it.
You wouldn't be able to.
You could cook like maybe fries or something, but you can't put a whole prime rib or a ham or I don't know if you do a ham, but a chicken or something of that nature. Mine, you can do that in.
Do you want to do that though? I mean, you don't want to just like.
I've never done it, but I kind of want to. I've always Traeger my chickens.
Well, don't do it now.
Or rotisserie.
Whatever you do, don't do it now.
I was told the best way to get a chicken, the best chicken there is rotisserie chicken. It's just the best way to cook a chicken. There's no better way to cook a chicken than rotisserie.
I believe it. I mean, look at Costco. They have like 17 more.
Look at Smart and Final. I mean, all these Vons, all these stores have good chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, Costco, I think, is the best too. Nearly 73% of Americans.
The price is what you're getting. Right. It makes it good.
And the container they put it in, I get all the way to my house in AG and it's still, hot and ready to eat. It's great. 73% of Americans have made a New Year's resolution that this year they are going to be smarter with their money. All right. They surveyed a bunch of people and 47% said 2020 was obviously a financially difficult year. A lot of people got laid off, furloughed, blah, 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 blah. So nearly 49% say that they were paying more bills in 2020 than they were in other years. I don't know how your bills go up in 2020. Now, at my house, we were able to save some money because we weren't going to restaurants that we normally would spend money at.
I think a lot of
we weren't doing the other things.
Are going up.
Just because it's the nature of going up.
I just feel like you've kind of started to notice that things are going to cost more, and my stance on economy as a whole right now. We are staring down the barrel of record inflation because our government has decided to just dole out cash like hip hop star at a strip club. I mean, it is.
I wouldn't quite say that.
I don't know. They make it rain. They're making it rain.
They went from 2,000 to 600. They would try to get 2,000, and they said, "Nah, you know what? You minions, you don't deserve it. You get $600." So everybody got $600. Well, not everybody, but if you made under, I think $100,000 a year, you got,
which is most people.
Or if you're a household that made under $160,000 a year,
which is most people,
then you got the money. But so of course they wanted to make it 2,000.
Prices are going to go up on stuff, on things.
No, listen. I'm grateful for whatever. I understand. To get my $600, that's awesome. So I get my $600,
and you're looking for more because you're trying to sell everything you have.
And I'm saying, what am I going to do with this $600? Really, what are families doing with this $600? Come on. Is it really going to make an impact? If it was $2,000, I mean, that could really do something. Not only could you motivate the economy, but, maybe you could do some necessary things around the house, pay off some bills, whatever. But that's the big thing the reason I wanted to bring this up to you is because you're the guy I know that is Mr. Frugal. And I looked at you yesterday after the show and I said, hey, I'm doing the Jeff Kingman. For the next 30 days, I'm not spending a penny.
Live January like Jeff.
I am going to eat everything in the house. I don't care if I'm eating just beans. I'm going to heat up beans on the stove.
Beans are good. Beans and rice. Beans and rice are really good.
I'm thinking, what can I put on my beans? I've got some garlic powder, some salt and pepper, but has anybody ever tried to put mustard on beans? Beans, not beads.
My kids have discovered their favorite meal now. I love this, by the way, because it's so cost effective. Dipping tortilla chips in beans. And I don't know if it's the healthiest thing.
Refried beans or just beans?
Refried beans.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if it's the healthiest diet for them, and I'm trying to mix it up whenever I get a chance, but that's what they want. They want that all the time.
Are you making the refried beans or are you buying them?
I just buy them. Why would I make the refried beans?
I don't even know how to make them. I know you take pinto beans and you cook them.
No, I know it's a lot cheaper if you make them.
Is it?
Yes, I think but
the key is bacon
fat. I look
fat.
at a dry bean and I'm like, no, I've been curious at the grocery store before, and I've turned over a package of dry beans. I'm like, how does one make beans? And it's like soaking process and all this stuff. And
you have to soak them in water.
And then I turned the bag back over. I stuck it back on the shelf, and I went over and grabbed the stuff in a can.
I tell you, nothing smells better. We were at my cousin's house. She wanted to make us her famous refried beans. She uses bacon fat. But she took the beans from the get-go. She soaked them, and then she put them in a crock pot, and I think she used chicken broth or something like that.
A lot of patience,
she slow-cooked them there. Yeah, I know. It is a huge process. And at the end of the day, they were just okay. They weren't like spectacular or anything. Like the way she talked about them and all the work she put into making them. I'm surprised Mexican food doesn't cost more because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, you expect the payoff to be a little bit better.
So I'm selling stuff to watch my money this year to start the year. How about you? What are you doing? You do anything different?
Money-wise?
Are you putting the household on a budget restriction? Are you putting a little some rules out there? Have you even thought about it?
No, this is going to be an expensive year for us.
Well, I know you're moving, you're buying a house.
Well, we're upgrading.
Not eating out as much, telling the kids they can't have toys anymore. They have to play with the toys they already have. Well, I mean, there's got to be something.
Well, we're in that mode for the next several months because they got so much for Christmas. It's like, gosh, so much stuff. I was like, these kids get toys. I remember getting a lot of toys as a kid and thinking, man, this is awesome. But then it progressively got more and more. It seems like sometime in the 80s, the presents just kept going up. And now it's like kids get so much stuff for Christmas. It's insane. And I just need I'm done buying gifts for my kids for Christmas. Let everybody else buy it. Everybody else.
That's not going to happen.
No, let everybody else in the family buy them gifts because you know what?
Are you going to buy them clothes?
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm going to put money in savings for them.
Yeah. Buy them a stock and then never give it to them. 805-543-3693. Those are the 805 beer lines. You can call or text on those. What are you doing to save money this year? The average person in this poll said they want to put away $327 a month.
Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Jeff and Jeremy here online, KZOZ.com. I saw this story and it made me think, man, this is why we accept everybody's friend requests. And we share a page here. I mean, technically, Facebook made us change it to the Jeff Kingman, but it's also under Jeff and Jeremy. And so I go in and people request us, and I can tell when it's a scam from another country or some really attractive woman wants to be friends with a couple of middle-aged, non-attractive men. So I know that's not the case. Like real attractive, right? And Jeff's like, "Oh man, you got suckered again." Well, a man, but in North Dakota, he's 29 years old, sent his employer a Facebook friend request on Christmas Eve. When he didn't get a quick response, he began to send his ex-boss menacing messages, including "accept my friend request or I'm going to murder you."
Oh, God.
2 days later, still no response. The guy wrote back. He said, "There'll be trouble. There'll be trouble for you."
This guy, is he really a bad person? I mean, is he going to really murder?
He goes over to the guy's house. He kicks in the front door.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, can you believe this? Anyways, the guy's okay.
People
But
take Facebook too literal. Too literal. I mean,
have you ever...
I am so dangerously close to deleting all Facebook footprint. It's ridiculous. And that includes the show, too.
Well, no,
I know.
Well, we can go to the KZOZ page,
I'll tell you
I
this
guess.
right now.
We can go to the KZOZ page.
The only
if you
reason
want
why
to.
I do is for you, is because I know you're big on it, and it does help us drive content. But
Well, I can put a question up there, and
I
then
know.
a lot of people interact. I mean, we get a
know.
lot of great interaction. We've got almost like 4,000 people
and
there.
I understand that, man. I'm just saying that
But
it's annoying.
We could just go to the KZOZ main page and just use that. I just don't think they...
Not as many people see it.
The problem is with Facebook, the way it works, the
They want you to
algorithms,
pay. Well, and they want you to pay.
they don't let you, everybody see your stuff on a like page like they
We
do a
just got
front
done
page.
telling you how we're going to be cheaper this year.
Yeah, I'm not paying.
It's like I'm going to be boosting posts. That's a luxury, for God's sakes.
Have you ever thought about the repercussions of not accepting someone as a friend or some sort of interaction on social media? I get a lot of people. I have my own personal page as well. Some people have found it, some people haven't. I usually accept everybody in, especially if they're local and they listen. That's fine. I don't really talk about show stuff on there. I post pictures of me, my dog, and when I catch a fish, and sometimes something my wife and I do. But it's rare. But at the same time, I always feel like I don't know this person. They obviously know me. They're local, and maybe they, but what if I don't and they come and, find me? And then I read this story today about this guy in North Dakota who got fired, left his job, and he tried to friend his old boss, and his old boss didn't do anything about it. The guy showed up, kicked in his door, threatened to kill him.
You need to have some kind of social network, like a rehab or like people that have gone too far into it, because what it ends up being, it ends up being Second Life, right? Like this guy obviously thinks that everybody uses Facebook to the extent that he does and takes it personally if people don't reciprocate on social media. I've had so many times people come up to me and they or family members say, "Hey, how come you're not accepting me on Facebook?" I'm like, "Well, I really don't know how." That's the thing. I use it to
It pops up. It says, "Do you want to accept yes or no?" I mean, come on.
I know, but
accept or decline. I mean, what do you mean you don't know?
I have a
Don't go with that
I have a
excuse.
personal page that I have not checked in 4 years.
That's what you should say. Say, I don't check it.
I've not checked it in 4 years. And then the show page is like, I go to it to type out a quick question, and then I leave it, and then I go back.
So
to
you're
read
not
the
a big
responses.
user. I get it. You don't have to.
I don't know
sell
how.
me.
I don't know how somebody gets so mad that you have not that you've not accepted a friend
Well,
request.
there's a group of people in this society that have a lot of issues to be social, to interact with people. And before social media, we would get some of these people. They would turn into stalkers. You'd become friends with them, and then they're calling you all the time. I don't know. Back in the day, they're writing you letters. Now they're texting you. They're emailing you. Now they're on social media.
I don't think those people are calling you all the time, though. I mean, it's
You never had somebody who you tried to befriend because you were trying to be nice to them, and then they wouldn't leave you alone, and you had to say, "Hey, dude, listen, I can't give you all my time." You were not a nice guy. That's why you weren't a nice guy. You didn't. I tried to do that to people. Sorry, I'm not trying to say you're not a nice guy, but this isn't something I think you've ever done. You probably never saw somebody when you were in school and felt bad for them and went over and tried to, cheer up their day and be their friend a little bit. And then they get a hold of your phone number and then they won't leave you alone.
That's happened to you?
Many times. There was a girl that named her first son Jeremy. Coincidence, maybe. But she wouldn't leave me alone. My parents had to get to the point where they told her to stop calling.
It is a kind of
Junior high.
Common. Wait, she had a daughter in junior high and she named her Jeremy?
No, a son after high school.
How do you know? No. What makes you think that she named her son
a friend of mine,
after you?
a friend of ours that that was a very good friend of mine that was the best man at his wedding that we went to school with and we were roommates with. He told me about it because we all went to school together.
I mean, it is a common name, Jeremy. You understand that, right?
Yeah, but spelled exactly the way I spell my name.
Is yours the only way I know how to spell it?
Oh, people spell it so many different ways.
The weirdest one is
Jereme, Jeremee,
I've seen OMY before.
Jermie. I mean, there's so many different ways.
I've seen OMY before and thought,
Jerome, yeah.
What kind of person is that? Come on.
Mine, I think,
Stop
is a
it,
pretty
Jerome.
common name, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. I said it could be a coincidence.
Pretty sure it
But
was.
a person that literally my parents had to tell her, my dad had to say, listen, you gotta stop. Calling multiple times every night. This was back before we had cell phones, so she would be calling the house. What do you do?
Your sense of self
How do you
is
get
outrageous.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just saying this has happened to me. It's happened to other guys too.
I hate social media.
805-543-3693.
Put it out there right
yeah,
now.
no, I know it's very easy. I know there's people listening around. Dude, come on, just man up and dumb. But sometimes that doesn't work. 805-543-3693.
Wake up.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Probably done a lot of stuff stupid growing up. I know I have. Got in trouble with the law sometimes. I've never heard of this situation, though. And I had a lot of dumb friends, and a lot of friends that I know that made the mistake of having a drink, too many drinks, and then driving a little bit. What am I talking about? Making excuses for him. Drinking and driving, they got busted. Check this story out. This is really wild.
CHP says a man was driving a Toyota RAV4 on State Route 113 with a woman as a passenger. During an argument, officers say the woman took control of the steering wheel, causing the SUV to collide into a tree and overturn. Officers say during that investigation, they found both of them were under the influence and were arrested for DUI.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How do you get 2 for 1 on that one? How do
She
you
grabbed
get
the
a BOGO?
steering wheel. She was driving.
The New Year's Eve BOGO, huh? For the CHP.
I mean, number one, if you're going to drink, then you shouldn't drive. But if you're going to drink and ride passenger with somebody and you grab the steering wheel while they're driving, drunk or sober, and you cause a wreck,
Oh.
you can get a DUI.
I mean, think about the
good. I say good on the cops, good on her. I mean, good on,
law.
bad on her. But if you're going to grab my steering wheel as a passenger because you're drunk and you're having a fit or obnoxious or whatever your deal is, you should get a DUI. 2 for 1 right there. Never heard of that before.
And it's part of the driver's fault for letting that person into the car, for knowing that she's a loose cannon. But all of it was
But the
could be
question for
tied back
you-
to alcohol, because that's what drove those bad decisions from the jump.
The question for you is, I don't know if you'll ever go back to being an Uber driver again, if that is part of your future or not. But when you were an Uber driver, this was one of the things you would do. I don't think you did it a lot because
I would grab
the
other
hours you
people's
would try to
wheels?
go- No, you would give drunk people rides home.
Yes.
And you told me there was a story where there was a girl in the front seat and you were a little concerned about her getting sick in your van.
Oh, God. She fell asleep and she
Did
got the-
anybody ever try to grab your steering wheel? Or you?
This girl fell asleep and got the hiccups. And I was taking her from like a remote wedding area, and I was like, oh, God. And her other 2 friends were asleep in the back seat. She was in the front seat. And every time she got the hiccup, I thought she was going to throw up, because they were obviously really drunk because they're coming from a wedding reception. And every time, and it was like the worst sounding hiccup, like I'm not from here, so I don't have to worry about hurting her feelings. It was like a rhinoceros was getting ready to, or no, hippopotamus. I always get those 2 mixed up. A hippopotamus was getting ready to belch. So not only was it like a, but it was like a,
Oh, wow.
I don't know if she had some sleep apnea thing going on as well. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, God. And I was white knuckling it. Like, I was under the most stress because I didn't want her to throw up in the car. And I still had 10 miles to go. And I'm like, oh, God, just let me get there. Let me get there. That was bad. That was bad. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Well,
I
I'm
was
just saying,
reliving the moment.
Being an Uber driver, obviously, did you ever have anybody try to grab your wheel?
No.
I didn't think so. My thing is, I don't think a guy would
Most
ever
people
do
ride
this.
in the back.
I don't think a guy would ever do this. This is something a man, as drunk as he could be, would never do this unless he was on some crazy other drugs as well. This is something a woman would do. I don't know what it is, but women sometimes when they drink, they lose the control and they get mad and they'll do. This is something I don't see a guy doing this. And this was a woman, by the way, that grabbed the wheel and then she got a DUI, riding shotgun, but she caused an accident.
Well, we've talked about this before. You know what it is. This is why women really should walk the line when it comes to drinking or keeping up with men. It's a sheer science thing.
They can't metabolize the alcohol.
Can't keep up with us when it comes to drinking, ladies. I don't care how many years of experience you have because we are bigger than you.
It is our dominance over you.
I mean, I'm sorry.
We're better at it.
I'm sure there are women out there that can drink me under the table per se, but I'm saying on average, probably you can't because I'm going to weigh more than you do. Okay, and that's just a sheer science standpoint on it, okay? So if you're looking to keep pace with men, then you're going to find yourself in a situation where maybe you're making a bad decision like grabbing a steering wheel. I don't know.
Anyways, they both got it now. I thought about this would be a good candidate for Dumbass of the Day, but I found somebody who was a little bit better. A mom who just couldn't turn down a little New Year's Eve celebrating. We'll get to that. Coming up next, Dumbass of the Day.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.